Hey guys, Chrono, and today I've got a deck for you that I came across in Master Duel that I thought, ooh, this is pretty interesting to see how it works, and I'm hoping that there's a way for us to see how we can adapt it to the TCG. So the deck that we're going against today, it's called Vaylantz, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but what I really enjoyed about this deck, I think it's kind of more of like a budget build based on what I was seeing from it. I mean, you've got some ultra rares and secret rares and Master Duel that you'd have to use to build this, but it doesn't look unreasonable as I was looking at it. And one of the things that I really like about the deck so much is it does an awful lot of special summoning. And when you need the pendulum summon, then you can go ahead and go into it. Now, right away, I really like what my opponent is doing here. They're deciding to swarm the field in a way that, just gets all the pieces out that they're going to need. Notice I have no interruptions in my hand, which would make me really wonder if I were to face this in testing, I wonder what would happen. Now, notice that my opponent is using Electromite. I would like, especially in the comments, if you guys could come up with like an alternative. And the reason I say that, Electromite definitely puts in some work here. So notice that the effect is used, which leads to some big interactions that I'm not sure how that gets used without it. Now they're going to go into Beyond the Pendulum, I believe, is this card, this Link Monster. Really great card. So glad that it got a reprint in the TCG, so it's much cheaper now. And goes ahead and sets up the Pendulum Scales. And then this is where they're able to go ahead and Pendulum Summon, which that's what I like about Pendulum decks, where there's an awful lot of other summoning that you can do, and then you go ahead and use your Pendulum Summon when you're absolutely certain you need to use it. That to me is probably the best way that they could have done this. Now, when I saw Secret Village of the Spellcasters, I was like, oh good gosh, that is going to be an absolute problem for me because my deck is heavy spell-like. Now then I saw Granite, and I thought, okay, I better activate this now. I'm not sure what this person's about to bring out. I was thinking maybe it was going to be the Primal Being being added. Oh, no. It was Fossil Dyna. And I thought, oh my gosh, he hasn't used his normal summon yet. And then I see the boss monster come on. I'm like, well, there's going to go my field spell. Sure enough, he goes ahead and exchanges those two. There goes the field spell. And I'm like, I have no interruptions to this unless I get some sort of kaiju of some kind. I do not. I have to surrender. I mean, what an amazing build. And it's one of those that, again, I would like to see how can we make this more viable when it comes to the TCG. Again, what I like about this build, if you're in Master Duel, notice that it's not that expensive. It does have some old staples like the Abyss Actor there, the Blackfang Magician. But it's a pretty reasonable build based on what you're seeing there. And the cards do swarm the field pretty well. Everything seemed to go the way that my opponent wanted it to go. And I just thought, I bet there's a way to make this more viable in the TCG if we can find a way to work around some of those other cards that you got to see. Because the only card I can think of that is not in the TCG right now is the Electromite. I think everything else should function just fine for this deck. Now, yes, I know Called By is still at 1 here, but there's ways to work around that. I don't think that's going to be an issue whatsoever. But this was a deck that I know that it's budget in the TCG. I know that it hasn't seen a lot of play, but after watching this build, I thought, man, if we can just find a way to substitute for the Electromite and think of another viable way to make sure that the deck interacts the way that it was, and then use that normal summon on the Fossil Dyna, I mean, your only out at that point is going to be an Infinite Imperm, or you have to have a Kaiju or a Lava Golem. I mean, this is a pretty solid deck. But guys, if you enjoyed this deck profile, I hope that you'll go ahead and hit that like button. Also, we'd love to have you guys be subscribers to the channel. Hey, thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Okay. Yeah!
For your next challenge.
I know